Hello, Chief Master. We're going to be going through all the different 18 moves that we have in the single combat. We'll be doing the double combat at a later time, sir. The first 4 to 5 moves we'll be doing are the most common moves used in the tournament, and also the easiest ones to teach for your children. And we'll be starting out with those. If you have any questions, sir, after the tape, please call me, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you, sir. Okay, sir, the first thing we're going to work on is the power stance. The power stance is considered the leg forward and the combat weapon forward. It's considered power. It's also the fastest, quickest way to get to an opponent. We also have the weak stance. A lot of times that's used to draw the person in and think they can get close enough to attack. Most of the moves are done in a power stance, and then there's a few moves done in the weak stance. The first one we're going to be working on is the Cobra. Kids love it. What I tell them to make sure they're very relaxed, almost like a Cobra moving around. So they'll have their weapon up here and they'll move around a little bit, just like a Cobra moves. And the first thing I do, they'll step and do a fan towards your head. A lot of times the person will dodge or try to block. Either way, there's going to be a motion moving away from the stick area. And I'm going to lean towards it just a little bit, my hand up, just in case. And then next thing, I'm going to spring off my back leg and strike forward, either to the head, or when I fan here, he moves back or blocks, or strike to the leg. But I'm springing off my back leg. So the first motion is step, and the second motion is spring, either the leg or the head. That's called the Cobra. So the Cobra is going to be kind of feeling his opponent out, feeling him out. He'll do the fake with a fan, and then he'll spring with a strike. If your guy doesn't move, that's great. If he does move, you can catch him. That's called the Cobra. This is fast motion. Yeah! Get your head stop. Yeah! All right. And stop. All right, the next one, sir, is going to be called the Bumblebee. This is also kind of used in the double combat. It's very similar to the Cobra. Only difference is I'm going to be setting the guy up with a stab. So from right here, I'm moving around, and I'm going to step and stab at an angle. And then from there, I'm going to come in. I'm either going to block or set up for a strike and come across. So right here, I'm stepping, stab. If he strikes at my head, I can block and I come back and strike. The other way this really works good in a real street situation, if I come in and I stab here, I can actually bring the stick across and strike the heel of the stick as well. So once again, from right here, I do a stab, come in and across, strike, or come across with a fan. Either way on the Bumblebee. The Bumblebee setup is just making sure we get a stab in here to get him to move his angle of his stick and his body to the side. So when he moves to the side, then I'm going to do one or two things. He's going to strike, I'm going to block, strike him, or if he doesn't block, I come in and he comes in and jams me, I can bring it in and come across on the other side. And that's called a Bumblebee, sir. Yeah! Yeah! Always have the other hand up. You know this, sir. When I come here and I come here, my hand always comes up to check here, block here, but it can also to check. Checking is allowed as long as I don't push. All right, next one, sir, we're going to be doing the Golden Rooster. I know on the tape, Chief Master GK has mainly just one Golden Rooster. We need 2 Golden Roosters, and one is because we want to teach kids how to strike high going backwards and high going forwards. So we're going to show you 2 different types of Golden Roosters. First one is going to be an offensive Golden Rooster. An offensive Golden Rooster from here is I'm stepping forward and I'm fanning to the wrist area, which is 2 points. And if the guy's smart, he's going to move his hand out of the way. So if I'm standing here and I fan, he's going to move, which is perfect because that drops his hand down 90% of the time. And then from right there, as I re-chamber, I'm going to jump and strike to the head. Once again, this is the offensive Golden Rooster. I'm going to step forward, fan down, he's going to move. And when I re-chamber, I'm going to jump and strike to the top of the head because the hand is moving sideways. That's the offensive Golden Rooster. This is done fast now. From right here, I'm sparring. I'm going to fan and then jump. When I do that, the jump has to be made on the re-chamber of the fan. So right here, when I come down here and I fan down, I jump, same time, strike, gives him no time for him to react. That's called the offensive Golden Rooster. One more time, fast. All right. Next is the defensive Golden Rooster. Defensive Golden Rooster is still striking to the head, but I'm evading with a counter strike. So the defense Golden Rooster from right here, he's going to be striking at my leg or striking at me. I'm going to be moving my leg back and blocking, and then I'm going to come back and strike. I can make this motion either moving forward or backwards. From here, if he charges a lot, and he keeps coming, I can actually jump back and strike. Or, if he just kind of stays stationary and kind of dodges, I go here and he kind of dodges, I can actually go forward on the strike. Either way, I'm using my block, and then what I'm doing is either responding either backwards or forward according to where his body motion is at. Either backwards from here, or either forward here. And that's called a Golden Rooster. That's right, that's right, that's right, that's right. Go. Da! Now you want to pause. Cha! And I can jump forward even more. So he goes to my leg and moves backwards. Da! So what I'm doing is I'm making my block or parrying, and then I'm just jumping and striking forward. Now it's important that when I strike here and block here, I want to make sure that I come up high on the angle and not so much forward, because his hand can actually invert here and block. So if I go high, I can actually go over that motion. When I come here, I can go over the motion as I strike. Good. All right, next one, sir, we're going to be doing the Crocodile. The Crocodile is really a counter for the Golden Rooster. So if somebody likes striking high because they get triple the points, they get three points, the Crocodile kind of eliminates them trying to go for the head. Now, there's two things you can do, of course, sir. When a guy jumps up, you can block them, or then they might be setting you up, or you can actually evade them and strike in the area where they can't get to. And it's called the Crocodile. From right here, and I'm in this motion right here, maybe I fake here, and then he jumps up. Now, when he jumps up, I'm going to let my leg spread down down to my knee, and I'm going to strike right at their leg, and then I'm going to move forward as they're striking down. Well, they're going to hit you while you're on the ground. The object of it is as they're going down, you're hitting them. As they're reaching you, you're already moving to the side. So once again, I'm going to do it in slow motion from right here. He jumps, I drop to my knee, boom, and I strike, and I keep moving after my strike. And this is called the Crocodile. Kids love this one because it's kind of like, they're standing up high, guys always popping them in the head. So the best way to do is get out of the way, evade. So we're going to evade by going down from right here, evade, drop, boom, and I'm back. Now when I go down, I want to make sure that my knee doesn't plant, it just kind of taps. So from right here he drops, I tap my knee, and then I move out of the way because their motion is going forward, so I want to go the opposite direction. That's called, right there, it's called the Crocodile. Now a little bit faster, sir. I'm not fighting it, and he goes past me, and then I strike him in the leg and move out of the way. Okay, the next one we're going to be doing is the Scorpion. The kids love this one. It's the visualization of how they're striking with their uppercut 5, changing into a number 6 strike, but you're turning your body a little bit. I'll do it in slow motion, sir. From right here, when I'm here, you're going to be cutting down low to drop them to move backwards or either block. And then when they do that, then what you're going to do, you're going to cut through, and then you're going to change direction and strike. And that's called the Scorpion. So from right here, I'm going to cut here, cut through, and strike. That motion from here, if I sit short, I'm not going to reach you. So I've got to step forward with my back leg. From here, as I cut here, I'm going to step a little further with this leg here and cut and strike. And this hand comes up because it offsets the balance, because a lot of times they'll do this and there's no balance and they can't see what they're doing. So bringing this hand up, keeps their body up, also has it up there for blocking as well. Once again, this is going to be the Scorpion fast from right here. I'm in this motion here. I'm going to step, cut, boom. Smart, cut, boom. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to kind of move backwards. And as you move backwards, you continue to strike. And you strike to the leg is the most common area. Okay, the next one we're going to be doing is the Panther. The Panther is really what we call a quick strike. You can use it in an offensive motion, and you can use it as a draw-in counter offensive motion. I'm going to demonstrate the offensive one first. And what it is a quick strike at a 45-degree angle, kind of like a Panther that kind of sits down and then lunges forward. So what I'm doing here, I'm in this motion trying to get them to draw just a little bit towards me as I move. And as I move backwards just a little bit, they will start to draw towards me. When I do that, from here, I draw back. A lot of times they will make a motion towards me to strike, and then I spring. And that's called a panther. And you can make that strike on either side. From right here, I draw them in, and then strike on the other side. And that's a spring going 45-degree angles, and it's this direct strike. Once again, you draw him in, and then spring, boom. And I look for the angle and where to strike. Maybe his arm kind of stays low. I go over the head. Maybe his hand kind of goes high as he moves in. Then, of course, I want to strike low. And that's called a panther. Now, the counter panther, or the panther that we use to maybe draw the person even more, is where I go into a weak stance. Not a power stance, but a weak stance. From right here, I'm going to draw backwards. As I draw backwards, that's more like he's going to step or come in a very offensive motion. When I do that, I'm going to set myself up to spring quickly. So as I move back, boom, I swing quickly. And that's what I call the, I guess the panther where you draw the person in. Once again, I'm here, I step backwards and boom. And I do that, I'm always springing, not stepping necessarily, but springing, 45-degree angle. And that's called a panther. All right, the next one we're going to be doing is the Prairie Dog. Prairie Dog is kind of a parry with a counter strike, and it's just kind of teaches students to kind of control their balance instead of leaning forward too much. On the Prairie Dog, it's a parry, but it's parrying both in the opposite direction, not the same side, but the opposite. So from right here, he's going to strike. I'm going to step back, come up on my toes, and block. As I block, he strikes through. I'm blocking. I come forward and strike. And it can go. It's better to go crossing this way. From here, they step. Boom, boom. And what I'm going to do is, as I parry, I'm going to step up on my toes, and my body has to be straight up, because if I lean over, what's going to happen? I'm going to misjudge, I'm going to get struck. So I want to make sure that my toes are up, and my motion is constant into a strike. So it's almost like a check with a strike. Right here, boom, boom. And my body stays up, because if I lean forward, I can't control the balance. And that's called the Prairie Dog. Fast position. Slice! Ah! That's it. Okay, the next one, sir, we're going to be doing the tiger. The tiger is more of an aggressive, getting somebody on their heels. And a good way to remember this one, you're making an X, and it's almost like you're skating as you move forward, so you offset your balance as you strike. I'm kind of demonstrating slow motion. Just step to the side for a second, sir. So from right here, you're in a fighting position. I'm going to step forward and do a number one strike. My body is moving side to side as I strike to keep them off balance. And as I strike, my foot goes behind my body just a little bit. So he's moving here. He moves back a little bit. I forward. 1, 2, 3. So as he kind of stutters a little bit, I get him off balance and get him on his heels. Once again, I'm right here. And all of a sudden he moves this, it gets on his heels, and then I fall through and I keep him off balance the whole time. And it's really kind of a power strike. So you're really kind of going at the guy and you're pounding them. And so what you're doing is you're making sure you're controlling your balance of your body. Okay, sir?
Yes, sir.
So the first thing I want to do, sir, right here, is I want to move. So that's all I need him to do to stutter to get that weight back on those heels. When he does that, then I'm going to step 1, 2, 3. And I'm moving side to side so he can't retain his balance. If it goes straight at the guy, he'll be able to push back in. But as I strike, boom, and I strike, I'm moving side to side as I strike to keep him on his heels. And that's called tiger. A little bit faster now. More time. That's good. All right. Next one we're going to be doing is the crane. Crane's like the old PKA spinning back fist move, except we want to make sure we teach students to spin with their head first, of course, but not let their legs get too crossed or too far out, because you can't control the spin itself. From right here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out with a number 2 strike, and then step again with another 2 strike, and spin right into another number 2 strike, whatever angle it opens up for you. Once again, 1, 2, 3. If he steps back too far, I can go ahead and go into the step with it. Okay, sir, one more time. I'm going to step forward. 1, 2, 3. Or if he moves back too far, I go ahead and let my foot step out and strike. So it's according to the motion of the individual as he moves. It's going to be done fast now, sir. Right here. Yeah! I'll move back a little bit more. Just in case he moves too much, as I strike. Sha! And that's called the crane. All right, the next one, sir, is going to be the lightning. The lightning is really a very aggressive strike, very similar to the tiger, except you're just going to make the lines a lot tighter and a lot faster. So what you're going to do is you're going to start with a number 2 strike, which is straight down. Then you're going to do a number 5, you twist it straight up and straight down. As I strike, my body is moving forward to keep them off balance as well. Same as a tiger, except my motions are a lot tighter and a lot closer in. Very similar in a lot of the international fights with a single combat or single balmongi or eskrima sticks. You'll see this motion done a lot. They're usually standing toe to toe, they're not moving as much. But the issue is they keep the strikes very tight and very inside. So this is a 2-5-2 strike, sir, and this is called the lightning. Someone was a lightning coming down from the sky. I'm coming straight up and down. Boom, boom. It's very fast, very quick, and very precise going up and down. You're getting the guy off balance, and you can actually change this. As I strike right here, I can change it to a leg strike or a head strike. What I'm doing is just getting him to keep blocking, and kick, strike. So I'm getting him to try to tighten his blocks up so I can go to the outside a little bit more. And that's called the lightning strike. And sir, we'll do this fast now. I'm right in this position here. I'm going to be stepping 1, 2, 3. Once again. That's called the lightning strike. Yes, sir. Next one we're going to be doing is the beagle. The beagle is kind of similar to like the sword defensing, as you're trying to make the strike angles very, very straight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to attack the area of your opponent's weakness, which is not getting scored on the front arm, which is a 2-point score. So I'm going to kind of strike towards that arm. From here, I'm going to strike towards that arm here, and I'm going to kind of let my weight come up a little bit as I strike to reach. And as I do that here, I'm going to stab. All right? Once again, from right here, I'm going to go towards his front arm as a fan, and as I fan a little bit, I'm going to step up and stab. So all I'm doing is trying to get my stick to touch his arm, or touch the stick, and I can use the stick as a guide as well to stab. Either way, as long as that arm moves from here. When I do that, that back leg has to come up. From here, the back leg has to come up so I have good balance so I can stab properly. And that's called a beagle. I think Chief Master GK kind of done that because it's like a beagle kind of, he thought was a hunting dog in a sense of pointing, like a pointer. And so he was like, they're pointing, and I was like, well, sir, that's kind of a different dog. But anyway, I just kind of use the example of a dog peeing, and that makes more sense to me when I'm teaching. So from right here, so we want the kids to pick up their legs from right here and pick that leg up so they have good balance so they can stab properly. And that's called a beagle. A little faster, sir. Ah! Ah! All right, the next one, sir, is going to be the hamster. The hamster, it's somebody just trying to come at you and attack you in a very aggressive manner. And what you're doing is you're kind of stepping and evading, and you're actually, people think you're trying to block, but you're really trying to strike the forearm as they come towards you. And I'll kind of demonstrate in slow motion right here. He's kind of coming towards me, and what I'm going to do is, as he comes towards me, I'm going to be striking at his arm, and I'm trying to cut. I'm cutting through his arm as I step backwards. I take, of course, sir, the sword part. As he comes towards me, I'm kind of blocking, and I'm coming across, striking. He's coming, striking, and I'm trying to hit that forearm and cut that forearm as I step backwards. So I can be blocking, coming into a counter. From right here, I can be blocking and come right into a counter, counter, counter. Hands always up, but I'm doing a power strike, doing a number 1 strike, countering as I move backwards. And that's called the hamster. A little bit faster motion. Ata! One more time. Ta! Sit, hamster. All right, next one, sir, is going to be the lion jump. What I'm doing is I'm coming at a person, I'm being aggressive, and then I'm evading as I strike through an aggressive motion to the side, and I'm blocking or stopping their arm and striking down on their forearm. Do this in slow motion, sir. This is called the lion jump. I start out with what we call an X strike. 1, 2, and then he's coming at me. I jump to the side. I stop his arm and come straight down and strike. But I'm going to jump. I just kind of step that time, sir. So one more time, I'll do it slow again. It's called a lion jump strike. From right here on 1, 2, he's coming at me. Boom! And I jump to the side. And I use this hand to kind of stop the motion and strike. A little bit faster from right here. Ah! So I'm jumping to the side and coming down on the arm. One more time. Ah! Evading and striking, coming to the side. That's called the lion jump. All right, thank you, sir. All right, the next one is going to be the tornado. The tornado is really kind of evasion. I'm parrying and blocking, and I'm learning how to use my lower body to thrust forward. And it's a defense situation. And sir, if I had like another hour, I break this down a lot. A lot of these movements I break down in a combat situation. But sir, we're limited, and you'll see the motions, and you'll figure out a lot of things yourself. But on this one right here is teaching a student how to kind of evade, like somebody's trying to punch at them, and they're evading and passing. And as they evade, pass, they learn to use their lower body to spring forward and strike with their butt of their head or their fist or whatever. But it's more of kind of an evasion tactic to learn how to move backwards, come up on your toes, and use your stomach and your back to do a lunging motion forward. This is called a tornado. Right here, he's kind of striking or towards my head, and I'm evading, and then I come through and strike. Once again, from right here, he's striking, I'm evading, and then forward strike. Now when I do that, my feet are coming together, and I'm leaning, and my balls of my feet are coming up, and I'm leaning backwards. Come a little closer. And I'm leaning backwards, and in reality, I can lunge my head forward and teach them how to strike with their butt of their head towards the nose of an assailant. They learn how to dodge, pass, because as I'm doing, I'm kind of passing. So if a guy's punching at me, I can be using it as a pass this way or a pass this way. We're going to make this motion for right now, and then you learn to lunge after that. So for once again, tornado, he comes at me, I'm blocking, and I'm leaning backwards, and I'm striking with the weapon or the head or whatever you want to do, and that's called a tornado. A little bit faster from right here. Asa! Aya! And that's called the tornado, sir. All right, the next one, sir, is going to be the elephant. It's a fairly new one, but it's a real easy one to use because a lot of times people are striking at the head, and it's really, you strike at the head because it's so common, but what's your counter? Because you know the guy's going to block. You know, they're going to put a pressing block. You know it's going to happen. So what you do, well, how do you counter that? Well, you can't change the angle because the guy's either moving this way and then moving side to side because you're doing strikes. Or he's trying to counter you. Now what's the fastest way to strike, counter? Straight line. So on the elephant, from right here, I'm going towards his head and he breaks up the block. As he blocks, I'm pushing through and stabbing. So once again, I don't want to do this because what happens is when I do this and I pull back to stab, he's hitting me. So what I want to do is I strike, is I pressure in and strike. And that's called the elephant. So I'm in this position here, I strike, push in, strike. It doesn't give him any time to counter. Once again, students will want to do this and do this, and that's what's going to happen. Guy's going to smack you. But if you keep the pressure forward, boom, and then you push forward and strike, then he has no time to really react to do a fan or a counter strike. This is called the elephant. Once again, right here, strike. A lot of times if they do it wrong, and they push way up, what happens is when they push way up, go ahead, sir. As they push way up and I push forward, ow, they get smacked as I push through it. So make sure, even when students block, you know, sir, their hand needs to be real close to that position there instead of pushing way out away from the body because that really sets them up for a lot of counter strikes in a regular scrimmage sticks combat situation. So from right here, I'm going to strike, pressure in, stab. And you can stab anywhere. Boom, boom. Because if I come here and pressure real quick, boom. Go right down there at the thigh of the leg, that's 2 points in a tournament. Here, 1 point in a tournament. Sir, called the elephant. Thank you, sir. All right, next one, sir, is the dragon strike. The dragon strike is really kind of a strike with a fan and a power strike pull through. So what I'm going to do is, from right here, I'm going to kind of come in and strike at this person's arm, and then I'm going to come high with a fan and another fan, and then he's going to come back at me. As he comes back at me, I'm going to grab with both hands and strike through. It's a power strike again. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. He goes back at me, power strike through. I kind of call it like a dragon's tail, because you know how a dragon, well, sorry, I guess you don't know a dragon, but anyway, a dragon kind of uses kind of a crocodile. Let's use a crocodile. So, you know how they whip their tail? So what I'm doing is I'm kind of whipping my tail, and then I'm smacking at the end. So from right here, I'm coming here, and then I'm fanning, and he comes back, and power strike through, and I step across, I bring it around, and pull through, and that's called the dragon's tail. I'm sorry, dragon strike. So I'm striking here, 1, 2, 3, and pull through, and that's called the dragon's tail, dragon strike. Next one is the dragonfly. A little different from the dragon's tail. The dragonfly is kind of a very evasive movement. It's not a kind of like the dragon's tail was more strike, fan, power strike. The dragonfly is more kind of zigzag kind of motion. What I'm doing is I'm stepping in and striking, and then I'm striking, and as I strike, he comes back at me. I switch legs and strike. So it's kind of like a in, across, back, jump strike. So once again, right here, I strike forward, he starts to come at me, I jump back, boom. Once again, I go 1, 2, boom. And I'm kind of hopping. So I'm kind of doing an X strike, and I'm kind of dedicating myself towards him, and he kind of comes back, I evade, and strike, and that's called the dragonfly. A little bit faster motion, right here, sa! And that's called the dragonfly. All right, sir, we're getting down to the very end. These last couple are a little different, but, sir, I'm sure they'll work in a combat situation as long as you move the motions properly. It's really hard to teach in a combat because of how you got to move your body. The first one I'm going to do is the Karate Panda. And I think Chief Master was just trying to make it cool for the kids, you know, thinking about the Karate Panda and all that stuff when it was real hot. So when they learn this move, you're telling them to kind of make a circle around your opponent. And from right here, what I'm doing is I'm bringing my strike, and as I strike, I'm going around my opponent as I strike. So I'm kind of going around the opponent like a big Karate Panda bear. Sorry, it's a kind of different one. So from right here, as I strike, I'm striking, and then I'm moving around the motion as I strike around the individual. If he gets frozen, I'm just going around him and strike, and I keep the motion going, number one. So my body is moving like I'm going to the outside every time I strike. Just like so. And that's the Karate Panda, sir. That is in fast motion. Thank you, sir. All right, last one, sir. Reason why I laid these two to the last, because a little different, the motion's a little crazy, but it's the hurricane. Hurricane is the same thing as the Karate Panda, so if you go in the opposite direction. So we're making a nice 20 movements here. So from right here, what I'm doing is I strike, I'm going number 2 positions. As I do number 2 positions, I'm saying same motion, I'm going around, striking. Oh, I'm sorry, I got excited, sir. I'm sorry, sir. All right, Cherokee knee. All right, sir, that concludes the 20 moves. There's also a lot of general rules that basically I know you've read. I just want to kind of go over them real quick, the point scoring system, and then also some of the warnings and some of the things you need to look for no points. Hopefully I can clarify most of this stuff. I don't think I'll cover everything because there's such a wide range of stuff, but I'll go through most of it so you can understand it. Point score system, very similar to our Taekwondo. Basically from right here is 1 point, striking to the legs, striking to the legs, striking to the ribs, striking to the arm here, striking to the arm here, striking to the back, striking to the butt. That's 1 point. All that's 1 point. So really the whole body is considered 1 point. The 2 point strikes can vary from here. I can strike here as a 2 point, which is the weapon arm. From the elbow down to the hand, that is 2 points. All right? And then if I strike up here, though, that will be considered 1 point. So if I strike in the upper arm, it's 1. If I strike down in the forearm area, that will be 2. Also, if I stab to the leg, the front leg, no matter which leg it is, if it's the front leg, then I'll be considered a 2-point strike. Another 2-point strike will be to the head, so that would be a 2-point, just like our Taekwondo. If we want to make any more points than that, a jump. If I jump up and strike to the forearm instead of 2, it would become 3. If I jump up and strike to the head, that will be 3, just like our jump spin kicks to the head in our Taekwondo training. If I jump up and I stab to the midsection, that's 2 points. 1 for the stab and 1 for the jump makes that 2 points. So very simple, very same as we do in our Taekwondo training. Also, if I jump up, and let's just say I get a 3-point and I strike his arm, boom, and he drops the weapon, that's a 4-point. That would be the max strike right now. So anytime they drop the weapon, you add 1 point to the score, and that makes it real simple to understand. The judges will score that as part of their scoring when they score. Once again, if I jump and strike, boom, that's a 4-point. If I just jump and strike it, that's a 3-point. Let's see. There's no striking to the neck area, anywhere on the neck, around the neck area, and also the back of the neck. Back of the head is allowed to be scored on, but you got to be very careful. Don't get near that spinal cord to strike. Also, no jumping or lunging strike techniques to the lower body. Now you can strike to the lower body, go down your knee and strike, but if you lunge towards the leg, that can be considered a warning because of the dislocation of the knee. So we want to be very, very careful of that. Some of the other warnings, we can't grab. Like for instance, I'm here, I'm striking, I grab them and hold and strike. That is considered a warning. If I just check them, it's okay. If he strikes the weapon towards me and I parry and touch the weapon, that's okay because I'm not stopping the weapon. I'm actually just parrying the weapon, so that's fair. Fair play to strike. Also, there will be no, like for instance, grabbing the person and throwing, of course, because people get very aggressive, they want to do weird things. That right there is an automatic 1-point deduction. If something happens, they strike and they bring their foot up to kick, that's automatic 1-point deduction. Anything extreme like that's 1 point. Let's see, what else? Illegal target area, once again, is the neck and the groin area. All right. There's no point scored for a foot strike as well. And if a person goes down to their leg and they strike and they put this hand down and touch the ground as they strike, that's considered a no point because there should only be 3-point touch at most. I got my knee, my foot, my other foot. That's allowed, but when I touch with this other hand, I consider no point. All right, so we got to keep that in mind as well. I believe that's it, sir, on the point scores and the warnings. And sir, if you have any questions, give me a call. Appreciate your time, sir. Sorry it took an extra week. I apologize for that, sir, and we'll have that to you directly. Face Chief Master. Jump! Thank you, sir.